Hey everyone, it's Adam here with GYV and the O Girls Garden Goodie Stand. And I wanted to get a greenhouse for my garden because the size of the garden increased in size this year. So I'll give you a tour of the garden here shortly, but I came up with a solution. I've been doing an extensive amount of YouTube research, and I decided that I wanted to have a greenhouse to manage my transplants. But being that I live in Florida on zone 10A, I was very concerned about the amount of heat that's going to be generated in the greenhouse, especially for the fall garden, where we're coming off of summer going into winter, and the amount of heat that's going to be inside the greenhouse. So before I did a complete commitment to buying a real greenhouse, I've shopped around, I looked around, and you won't believe what I found. At first I was at disbelief that you could get a greenhouse dirt cheap, literally dirt cheap. And I'm sure you're paying for what you're getting, but I feel for my situation of never having a greenhouse, don't know exactly where to put the greenhouse for the best results. I hate to put a permanent structure in and to spend all that money to find out that it's just not going to work out for me. So this might be the deal of the century for you gardeners out there that are on the fence about getting a greenhouse, can't afford a greenhouse, but you can go on Amazon and buy portable greenhouse setups that are dirt cheap. And I'm going to show you the one that I have here. I'm going to pick it up for you and show it to you here. So it's pretty light, I can pick it up, and it's a 10 by 9 by 8 greenhouse, and I picked this up for $115. I think it included the shipping because I'm a Prime member. So I'm gonna give this thing a whirl. I'm gonna set it up, and I hope it turns out halfway decent. If it's halfway decent, then money well spent, and use it till it dies. And then at that point, I'm thinking I'll probably upgrade to a real greenhouse. But I think entry level, this might be the ticket for 115 bucks. Can't go wrong. So I'm gonna set this thing up, and also I wanted to give you a tour of the fall garden. It's looking pretty good. A little beat up from the heat, but let me show you what it looks like. All right, here is the front garden area. Let me show you what's growing on here. So I have about 17 dasher cucumbers along the trellis. I decided to plant these in the same exact spot as my spring garden. I did do a lot of additional soil amendments, thinking that I might be all right planting these in the same place as last spring. Over here, there's another row. I did have some snap peas. They just got totally wiped out from the heat of September. I'm going to give that another 3-4 weeks before I attempt to do that again. But I have all this empty space here, so I can do a succession planting of cucumbers as well. I got a row here of zucchini, and I think it's starburst squash, yellowneck squash. They're not looking so good, but I'm hoping they're going to bounce back. I just applied some liquid fish emulsion fertilizer. Just waited a little too long on my transplants, but I think they're going to bounce back. Here's a row of okra. I believe it's jambalaya okra. They're looking pretty healthy. Here is 3 rows of tomatoes, approximately 2 foot on center. I have a variety of, like a paste tomato, Invincible. What I have here, Red Deuce. I got from Harris Seeds a while back. Another Invincible. What's this one? Another Red Deuce. Yeah, so heat and dawning off disease took care of that one. But here's Big Rainbow. I have a eggplant there, one lonely eggplant. I got Dad Sunset tomatoes in here. I got cherry bombs from Johnny's Seeds. Another cherry bomb, another cherry bomb. I got Juliet grape tomatoes, another Juliet, and black Krim, another black Krim. So I have a variety of tomatoes I'm growing. Red Candy is another grape tomato, and let's see what's down here. Red Candy. All right. And then back here in the last row, or last 2 rows, I have some early wonder beets I started. And then I have a whole row of different types of flowers. So for some bouquets, I'll show you. All right, so that's the front garden. Let's check out the back garden, or rear garden, or could we say the big garden, because the back garden is like 20 foot by 100 foot area, and it is a work in progress. When I say work, oh man, this has been a lot of work. So this is where we bury all the dead bodies in the rows here. Just kidding. But same technique as the front garden. Had to remove all the grass, tilled it in, brought in amendments, alfalfa pellets, peat moss, organic fertilizers, cow manure compost, and hilled it up, broad forked it, and here is pumpkins and butternut squash here at the end row. I'm planning on them growing into this kind of a grassy area. I have approximately 18 rows here. They're about 16, 17 feet long each row, and direct buried the irrigation drip tape in the rows about 4 inches down. Here's this one right here I haven't buried yet. It's like one of the last rows for me to take care of. Built this really awesome cattle panel T-post trellis that I have birdhouse gourds and loofahs growing on. So that's the first time for me, and I'm really looking forward to it. I did pick up this really cool broad fork. If you check out my Instagram page, I did post some photos, I believe, about it. I think it's called Big Bertha. Thing works great. Just turns the soil like no one's business. Okay, so that was the tour of the garden, and now I want to get to business of assembling my $115 greenhouse that I picked up from Amazon. I'm gonna try to do it by myself. wish me luck, and stay tuned for that. See you then. All right, well, before I get started on erecting this $115 greenhouse, I am just disbelief how inexpensive this greenhouse is. I'm really hoping that it's not as cheaply made as I think it's going to be, but regardless, I'm going to put it together and I'm going to make use of it. So my initial thought when placing this greenhouse in my garden, I was concerned about where to put it. You know, first thing being from Florida, I was thinking how hot it is and the heat inside the greenhouse. So I knew I wanted a place to put it that did get partial shading from trees or buildings. And based on what I'm reading online, you need to have like a minimum of 6 hours of light for a greenhouse. And I'm thinking that 6 hours is probably plenty for the amount of heat that Florida has. So I found a place just west of the front garden and right in front of the back garden, right here. And you can see there's some shading of the palm tree right here. And then to my right, there's a shed and a big oak tree. So I'm thinking I'm gonna get somewhere between right at 6 hours from like 10:30 to 5:30 of sunlight. So that's what I'm thinking. I'm hoping that works out. I'm gonna set it up right here. So wish me luck. So I went with the white woven greenhouse material, thinking the white would help keep the greenhouse cooler than the green ones I saw online. So that's why I went with the white one. So right off the bat, you can see the tubing isn't very big. Maybe the size of a quarter round tubing. So, I mean, it feels kind of strong, but it's not flimsy. But you can tell by just the size, you know, it's probably not going to last very long. But for 115 bucks, can't go wrong. All right, so that's about all of it. I'm hoping that I don't need any tools. There's a whole lot of parts here. All right, I'm back. I don't know what happened there. I think my cell phone overheated and just killed the video, but I went back and I looked at the video a little bit. So I got a lot more done that was in the first clip, but so far the greenhouse is going together really fast. the sections, oh shoot, it's pretty flimsy though, but all the sections have these little push-in buttons here, and it's all click. There's like no tools needed, and that's it. That's how it goes together. So let me keep going on this. Hopefully the camera doesn't overheat again on me. That's the first time that's ever happened, and let's get back to it. So yeah. So I'm building this thing in 2 sections, hoping to connect them all at the top here. It's gonna get a little tricky. Ah, son of a gun. I'm missing a piece. Well, that stinks. So it appears that I'm missing one of the center pieces that goes along the peak of the greenhouse. Oh man, that stinks. Alright, so I know it was $150 for this, but it appears that this is the wrong piece because the hole spacing of the pin doesn't line up with the peak fittings, and so I'm actually missing 2 pieces to the greenhouse. Let me double check the box. Okay, so I was really hoping to show you guys this $115 greenhouse. It appears that I'm missing critical pieces to complete it. So I guess this is kind of the risk you take when you buy a inexpensive item that feels like it's too good to be true. So I'm going to contact the manufacturer. Hopefully they send me the pieces sooner than later. Okay everyone, I'm back at it. You know, I really wanted to get this greenhouse up, even though it's missing some pieces. I went ahead and I emailed their customer service email address requesting the 2 missing pieces, but I really want to get it up, so I came up with a game plan to use PVC pipes to connect the top 2. The way things are going nowadays with COVID and all those things. I'm sure it's going to take months and months to get these two missing pieces from this manufacturer, but I think I have a solution here. So it's going to involve pipe cutters, 1/2-inch PVC pipe, and see if I can get this thing to hold together long enough for the spare pieces to come in. So let me show you guys. Hopefully it works. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the metal poles from the sides, so when the new pieces come in, it'll be easier to switch out. This is the PVC pieces I just cut. They seem to be working pretty good, so I just slipped in the PVC pipe into it. It doesn't have this button on it, so I'm going to pre-drill a hole and set a screw for now. All I'm using is 1.25" deck screws, and I'm just gonna install it temporarily, and I think this is going to work for now. All right, so that worked out. Let's do the next one. Alright, so last piece, using the PVC 1/2-inch Schedule 40 pipe to fill in those two missing pieces. So it really looks like this is going to work. So, oh man, I got a bent fitting up here. Ah, what the heck. I think I'm pretty tall, because thinking you'll definitely need a ladder to do this. All right, that's a lot harder than it looks. Yeah, so what's happening is from the factory, they're not perfectly round. They got squished either in shipping or just mishandling at the factory. Pretty easy to bend back just using some channel lock. All right, we got this thing together. So next step is to put the greenhouse plastic over the top of this. I'm gonna go ahead and move the camera and try to get a better shot. Definitely be easier with a ladder and somebody helping you. So I'm gonna go get a ladder. All right, so couldn't find a ladder that fast, so I gotta check. Son of a gun. I think I put this thing on upside down. Son of a... Son of a... Really? That makes no sense. So the greenhouse material came, or at least maybe I did it by mistake, but it's inside out. So I gotta take it all off and do it again. And it's hot in here. Whew, this greenhouse is really cooking now. So let me move the camera and fix this. Gotta love it. Alright, just checked the camera not too long ago and it overheated and the film stopped. I do apologize, guys. It seems like everything is going against me in shooting this video about this $115 greenhouse. So I just flipped off the plastic. Now I'm putting it back on the correct way, hopefully, and want to keep going. All right, it's looking pretty good. Okay, everyone, just finished up the assembling the greenhouse, my $115 Amazon purchase. Oh, ice cream truck's here. Okay, I'll be there. So even though there were some missing pieces and I had to assemble them by PVC pipe, 1/2-inch schedule 40, I did get it done. I did email the manufacturer. Hopefully the customer service is good and they'll send me those pieces. But even though it's flimsy, it's cheap, there's some good qualities about this greenhouse that I really like. I think it serves the purpose of what I'm trying to do with a temporary greenhouse, to learn how to use a greenhouse here in my zone 10, so I don't go out and I spend a bunch of money on a greenhouse that I can't use because I can't regulate the temperature inside of it. So let me show you some of the cool features about this one and why I picked it. Yeah, let me show you. So here's the greenhouse. I decided to go with a white one instead of a green one. You'll see them online. But what's really the number one reason for me to buy it, other than the size, because I was limited on space, was that it had a double door going all the way through, so I can get a cross breeze through it. But what's really cool about it is they have a bug screen door and then a regular door in front of it. So over here I went ahead and rolled them up. So here's the bug screen one. So if I wanted to have the door open but keep the bugs out, I could do that, or I can keep them both up. And then when the door's down, right here you can see it, when the door's down, there's another window that I can roll up to let airflow in as well. Then on the sides there's these little windows, same thing, you roll them up and there's bug screening right there too. So I think of all the greenhouses I saw online, even though this one looked like it was one of the harder assemblies than the other ones, they're like pop-up tents practically, this had some really good features about airflow that I liked. So really hoping they have good customer service. They send me those missing pieces, but I would highly recommend this if this is something you're thinking about doing. You want a greenhouse but you're not sure, and this is a totally inexpensive way to get a greenhouse to start practicing your skill. So, okay, I want to say thank you for watching my video about the greenhouse and the garden tour update I gave you on our fall garden. And as always, please subscribe and like this video. It means a lot to me. And if you're already a subscriber, thank you very much. And I wanted to say thank you everybody out there. If you have any questions, please hit me up in the comments. I do my best to reply to all my comments as much as possible. So happy gardening, everybody.